What I learned from 23 years in sales, especially with new salespeople and training them, is that the more scripts I gave them, the more techniques I gave them, the worse the salesperson became. And I was confounded by that for a long time. I didn't really know what that was about. Because if I give them everything they need, why are they performing less? And then there's one guy who came in. He had no sales background. He didn't know anything, but he just rocked sales in our company. And I didn't have the script. He didn't know the product that well because salespeople who had been with our company for several years couldn't sell as good as he did. What I saw with him was that he was actually being attentive to the person he had in front of him. He was listening to the things that they were not saying. Based on what he did before, it was just crazy. He just knew the product very well, and then he listened to the customer. No script at all. And that's what I think most people go through. They sell like an AI, read the script straight off, present the product straight off. No emotion in it, no connection, no value. Just this is the product, in and out, buy. There's a study that is famous everywhere, and you've probably heard it already, that 7% of words that you're using is what the other person that you're talking to actually hears. And the rest is tonality and body language that they're seeing. The study is often misquoted in every sales training in the world all the time. The study that they did was on attitudes and emotion in conversation, not all communication in general. That's why it gets so misquoted all the time. But with that said, you can actually implicate this in selling. If you say something with the wrong tonality or you say something with the right tonality, tonality always wins. And that's what people listen to all of the time. Not sometimes, all the time tonality goes before words. When I started with sales, it's still mostly about the product that I was selling. I just sold everything to everyone, basically. And that was me then. Good experience, but that's what I thought sales was about. In later years, it's so much more about the person that I'm meeting and where they are and what I can do for them or what my product can do for them. There was a tonality shift a few years in my sales journey that I really felt that the tonality I used was like flat, all of the same. I found myself like not really listening to what the person was saying. I was just like, yeah, gold here and that there, here's the product, like that. I had authority and I could still sell, but I wasn't really there, not really listening. So I actually started acting school, and not because I wanted to be an actor, even if that would have been cool as well. I really wanted to learn how to listen properly, not listen to reply to what you're saying, listen to really understand what you're saying and really get into the character behind you. What are you thinking? How are you feeling? How is this stressing you out? How is that stressing you out? And get into that character that is you and really get in there. And from then on out, when I implicated that into the sales team and the sales training, that became something totally different. And I think still we need to work with ethical sales in all departments and what we're working on. And you really get that when you get to know the person. So if you meet someone, make sure that the day is better because they had met you. If that's not the right person for the product, then leave, don't sell them. Tell them that. Imagine acting like you get a script as you do in sales. This is the script, this is your lines, this is the character that you're playing. You can't just read the lines like flat. And that goes back to the bad salespeople again, that just reads the script and that's it. No emotion, no background. They're not putting themselves into that person to know how that person is feeling. But in acting, that's exactly what you're doing. You need to get into character, and to get into character, you need to feel what that person is feeling. And that's not easy. That's not easy at all. With everything else, like with yoga or breathing or everything else, you maybe can sit for 1 minute the first time you do it, but it's trainable. You can train on it and become better at it. The same thing with empathy, emotional intelligence, and really listen to what people are saying. You can train on that as everything else. That is something I've done the last years with the whole team. When a prospect actually looks at you, they're not seeing you, they're seeing like kind of a dead start. When a prospect sees you, they see the sales guy who sold them their first car, who skimmed them out of every cash they have. They see the guy with the 40 minutes overtime presentation. They see the guy with the 400 email follow-ups. That's what they actually see when they meet you. Your job initially would be to break that. So the first part of everything you do in a sales call is not about you, not about the product. You need to break the ghost. The ghost from the past is what they're seeing when they see you. It's so important that you get some kind of pattern interrupt. First 90 seconds should not be about your product. It needs to break the pattern. So if you break the pattern, the brain goes, oh, wait, this is different. You've broken the ghost. Now you can go into the call. And it's so important that you do that initially, because otherwise you will be stuck with the ghost of all the other sales guys that everybody met before. There's one thing that I think AI would never be able to replicate in sales especially. Most people are not actually using it. AI today can basically match your tonality, your script. They can do everything that you can do today. Script, tonality, they can replicate the spin selling method, the challenger method. They can replicate everything they need actually. But what they can't really replicate yet, at least, is the life experience that you have. Most people are not using it. And the funny part of it, I think, at least when I see it with my salespeople, is that AI can replace them. The life experience that they have, they're not using it. So they're actually already acting as an AI because they stick to the script, they stick to the process. They're like AI in sales basically, because they don't care about the connection, about the person they're meeting. So they're actually acting as an AI already, which is really bad. Neil Rackham analyzed like something around 35,000 calls, and combined that with our data that we had, we saw that it was never in closing. The customer had decided long ago, and it was that the salesperson never got to the real pain and never got to where the customer feel like, oh, I will be saving this much on this product. Oh, this is something I need to have in my life. And all of that wasn't clear. The salesperson was rushing into product or the solution for what they were selling. And we see that over and over and over again. Rush to the product, rush to the solution, customer in, customer out, no connection, and especially not this is the solution for you.